Welcome to TalkNorth.com. Thanks to our longtime producer, Brandon Morton. Please download before you listen. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach us at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com. And please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Two promo codes to be aware of. BiteSquad.com. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. And go to SodaStick.com, the great local apparel company. Use the promo code YouBetcha to get free shipping on any sized order. Welcome to this week's edition of Preps Today with John Millea. I'm here with John Millea from MSHSL.org. I always stumble on it.
Mashizzle.
You know what I can get right? I can get Pizza Barn Princeton right. It's been pizzabarnprinceton.com, our sponsors of the Preps Today with John Millea show. Let us start this week with a big track meet coming up.
Yeah, Jim, Friday night, the biggest regular season meet of the track season in Minnesota, the Hamlin Elite Meet. This is the 14th annual. I don't think I've missed the previous 13. I think I've been there every year, sometimes standing out in the rain and the cold, but the weather this week is looking pretty good, so this should be a nice night. And it's a neat meet. Basically, kids who have competed in previous meets submit their times, their distances, their heights, and the top 8 or 9 in each event, you qualify. And if some of those top ones can't make it, somebody else moves in. And basically every race is a final. Every race is a championship race to win at the elite meet.
That's such a great idea because, I ran track and I had kids in track, and the tough thing as a spectator in track is all the prelims, and people not even necessarily trying to win, just trying to qualify. That's a cool idea.
This thing is run really well. The track program at Hamlin runs this. And the only prelims are in the boys and girls 100 meters. I think there's 2 prelims and then a finals later on. And these are the top track and field athletes in the state. And this is a pretty good state for track right now. It really is. We're going to have 2 kids performing Friday night who are seniors, who are state record holders. There will be a story on John's Journal, kind of a preview of the Hamlin meet focusing on these 2 before Friday. One is Joe Fonbala from Hopkins. He holds the state record in the 200, and he's part of the state record 4x100 relay team from Hopkins. I think 3 of those 4 guys are back from the team that set the state record last year. And then for Mounds View, a well-known pole vaulter, Julia Fixon. She competed at a world meet in Finland last summer. That's how good she is. And I'm going to have to come up with a nickname for these 2. I'm going to call them the Florida-Georgia line because Julia Fixon, she's going to be a Georgia Bulldog next season, and Joe Fonbala, the big sprinter from Hopkins, he's signed with Florida. So these are 2 big SEC track and field powers. One of the coaches at Hopkins, I think it was, said, Florida men's track, that's Kentucky and Duke in men's basketball.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. And Julia signed with Georgia. And both of those schools, the Georgia women, the Florida men, they compete for NCAA championships every year. So I've enjoyed hanging out with those 2 kids, and I'm looking forward to Friday. There'll be a lot of other great athletes at Hamlin. Like I said, the weather looks great. So if you're a track head like me, come out to Hamlin Friday night. I think the meet starts at 5 or 5:30, and it whips through real quick. It's really fun. It's the production, if you want to call it that, of this meet is great. By the time we're done, it's under the lights, and really a good. We're not to the mid-season in track yet. We're kind of past early season. I don't know what to call it, but the best regular season meet of the track season. And there's no classes. Right now in high school track, we have 2 classes. Not at the Hamlin Elite meet. It's neat to see some of the kids from small schools win some of these events, and that happens every year. So I'm really looking forward to that Friday. And another track note here, I was at the Shakopee Relays last week. In fact, I was there to see Joe Fonbala and some other Hopkins kids run, and a lot of other teams were there. It was a nice day. And they ran the shuttle hurdle relay, which people in Minnesota don't know anything about.
I love that event.
It's and they also ran the 1600 medley relay. Now, I'm from Iowa. We all know that. Those are common events at every track.
Yeah, I love both of them.
So the shuttle hurdle relay, I tried to explain this to some people on Twitter. I tweeted a little 10-second video of what this looks like. So basically, you've got hurdlers running 100 meters basically in both directions. Like team 1 is going to take lane 1 and lane 2. The first kid's going to run 100 meters. As soon as he crosses the line at the end, his teammate is in the starting blocks. There's no batons. Comes back, so it's basically down and back, 4 kids using 2 lanes, huddles set in 2 directions. And you see who can do it the quickest. It's the ultimate non-baton relay, and it's really fun to watch. And then I was kind of wandering around between some field events and back to the track, and I'm watching this race, and it looks like the 4x2. First kid's running 200 meters, second kid's running 200 meters, and then I see the next batch of kids. They're not running 200 meters. They're not going at that pace. They're going slower. So, my Iowa high school track memories came back. Oh, this is the medley relay. 200, 200, 400, and your anchor runs an 800. So it's kind of neat that Shakopee, they do that. And I don't know nationwide if the shuttle hurdle relay is a big thing or the medley relay, but really fun to watch. And I'm clearly a track head. This is also the weekend of the Drake Relays down at my alma mater in Iowa. And I never can go to the Drake Relays because of the Hamlin Elite meet. You got to pick and choose. But yeah, if you're a track nut, there's some good track in the Midwest this weekend.
How about Turf Tales?
Yeah, we talked a little bit last week about Janesville, Waldorf, Pemberton. I had been down there to check out their turf. We talked about it on last week's show. I knew they had a turf football field, soccer field. And then I learned they have this fabulous turf softball field. So I wrote about it, put a big photo gallery up on the MSHSL Facebook page. And there were 2 questions in the wake of the story and the photos. How did they pay? Well, 3. What did it cost? How did they pay for it? And why doesn't my school have that? And it was basically a $4 million project. They came in a little under $4 million. And they, basically Bill Adams, who's their superintendent, and he's a member of the high school league board of directors, told me the amount the taxpayers are paying actually decreased. So how do you do that? What kind of magic is that? And I'm no school finance expert. Bill explained it to me. I tried to dumb it down so I could understand it, but there's some bonding and some state programs, and really an amazing thing. And the thing that when I was talking to Bill, he was telling me 2 years ago when they debuted this place, they were having a back to school open house, and he just started chatting with one of their football players. And everybody had seen the new turf facilities, and Bill asked the young man, so what do you think of the new stadium out there? And the kid said, it's great, but we don't deserve it. We live in Janesville, Minnesota. We don't deserve this. It's a small school. And Bill's reply was phenomenal. He told the kid, your zip code doesn't determine what you deserve.
Wow.
And that's really a good way to sum that up. I was at Hopkins talking about track, but I was chatting with Dan Johnson, their AD there, and they've got turf everything. They've had turf on their stadium for a long time, and in the last couple of years, they've turfed their baseball field and their softball field. So I know of 2 softball fields in Minnesota with turf, Hopkins and Janesville, Waldorf, Pemberton. And I asked Dan if he knew of any others. He didn't. So
wow. If
anybody knows, send me an email or a tweet if you know of any other high school softball fields with turf. I'd like to know if there are any more out there.
It was funny because I've taken a few trips out west recently. I was in San Diego over last weekend just for a quick vacation, and it's amazing in places like that where they don't want to use water, and where it's hard to keep grass alive if you don't use a ton of water.
Right.
So many of these people just put astroturf in their yards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen that in Phoenix. Yeah.
And so you're paying up front, but then you're not using water,
Yeah.
you're not maintaining, you're not buying fertilizer, there's no hours spent on it. It's just there.
And that's what a lot of these administrators who've added turf in the last, 10 or 15 years have said. That was a big part of the pitch to the community. Here's what, yes, the upfront cost, it can be $1 million for a turf field and a track, but after that, it's you're done putting money into it.
Right.
You have a piece of machinery to go work on the little rubber pellets and even things out once in a while, and that's it. It's just it's amazing. I don't think I'm going to put turf in my yard because then I wouldn't have any weeds to fight, and I like fighting dandelions anyway.
I don't.
So.
I'm a turf guy.
I say I do.
Yeah.
But no. I was discussing this with my wife. We were taking a little walk and we're coming back to our yard, and I said, I'm going to try to be environmentally responsible and use as little chemicals as possible. And I know that means more weeds, and that's going to be a struggle for me, but yeah, maybe someday we'll put in turf, but I just I told her I'm going to try to control myself as the grass gets going and the weeds get going. I'm going to try to stay calm and not blast everything with nuclear fuel.
Famous last words.
Yeah, look out.
By the way, WCCO, I'm going to use my large platform here to help out a little upstart. WCCO, CBS in Minnesota, is running the Best of Minnesota Pizza contest. So go to WCCO on Twitter and find the Best of Minnesota Pizza concert and nominate, as Kim Young did here. I'm looking through some of the mentions. Kim Young said Pizza Barn in Princeton is the best, and I will concur. We have been up to Princeton. We've had their pizza. I've had their gluten-free pizza, which was outstanding. And you'd be not only supporting this show, my network, you'd be supporting a great local business.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. I've been on there. I have voted for Pizza Barn because I've never had better pizza, and I've eaten a lot of pizza in a lot of places. And if you go to their Pizza Barn Princeton's Facebook page, that'll take you right to the site where you can vote. And Jody up there, who runs the show, we've talked about how community-minded the Pizza Barn is, and she had a great tweet with a picture from a school board meeting up there. She said, the tweet says, "Princeton pride at its best," and it's the school board honoring basically teams that took part in state tournaments. So boys basketball, bowling, speech, boys swimming and diving, wrestling, and then the kids who partake in History Day. And that's really awesome that the school board in Princeton did that. And if you also go to the Facebook page for the Pizza Barn Princeton, Jody's got a great video on there I just saw yesterday. It's about, she's kind of getting this, it was kind of I think it was the day before Easter. So she's saying nobody likes to cook the day before Easter because you're having the family for Easter dinner. So here it is, Saturday before Easter. Call us, order some pizzas, we'll take care of you. And then she also had an interesting phone message that she replayed on there. Obscenity, was one obscenity and all, but it's really worth it. Great reaction from Jody on what kind of was a complaint, but really to me wasn't much of a complaint. It was really kind of neat. I wasn't expecting what I heard when she played the phone message, but somebody who left Pizza Barn a phone message is going to get some good pizza next time they come by and identify themselves to Jody and the staff up there. So, yeah, they do great things at the Pizza Barn in Princeton. We're glad they're part of our operation here.
Absolutely. Now, the title of our next segment is Boys Can Dance, and while I agree in principle, I do not agree from personal experience.
These boys sitting here cannot dance and won't dance. But, yeah, this was this has not gotten a lot of publicity. This has gone on for a year or more, a court case. A couple of boys in Minnesota wanted to be able to dance with the high school dance teams, and this did go to court. And initially, the ruling was no, they can't. Dance is a girls-only sport. But an appeals court overturned that, and the high school league decided we're not gonna pursue this anymore. So as of next dance season, it's a winter sport. Boys will be able to dance on what until now has been girls' dance team. So we just don't know how this will pan out. We know of these two boys in the metro, and it basically opens the door for boys to try out. And then from there, the coaches will decide, like they do, in every sport, who makes the varsity and the JV. We could see boys at Target Center in the state dance championships next winter. We'll wait to see. But yeah, this is a big deal. And some of the arguments that I've heard have been, So if there's a boy who wants to dance and he's allowed to dance, that's great. What if that boy who's 5'3" has a brother who's 6'8" and wants to play girls volleyball? And there is club volleyball for boys now, but it's not a high school league sport. I think some people have been afraid, are we opening doors that can't be closed otherwise? So we'll see what happens. I think this is a good move. The boys deserve a shot here. That's how I feel about it. And we just don't know what will happen, but we'll find out, in a few months.
Absolutely. Officials